see some legendary, I'm offended, but who knows what is going to happen. I love the drop on both sides. Guys, please take this away.
We're going to be into it. It's going to be match 2. This is the winner go on, loser goes home. You're going to be relegated. You are going to be out of the league. A lot of pressure. Make sure that you actually have a great first game going into this draft. Who has the edge?
Honestly, I kind of favor STELLARK's draft. There is definitely some kind of mysteriousness when looking at the Hanzo jungle. We have seen the Natalia coming in from the side of ALCHEMY before, but I do have my reservations regarding this. Is the assassination really going to work onto this 1-1?
Yeah, we're going to have to find out. I mean, it's all going to come down to positioning. But now, like the last match, who on each side really has to have that perfect game, making sure that they, you know, are going to literally carry it. Let's go with STELLARK side.
Well, of course, when it comes down to STELLARK side, we are looking at more of the mid to the later stages of the game. Paramis would definitely be capable of putting and outputting a good amount of damage. Well, Ruby, here's the thing. He doesn't have a lot of tank ability. So I would be mostly looking out for the front liners. I really want to see more damage being outputted from the side of Hanzo. But STELLARK, in a grand scheme of things, as an entire composition, I think they lack the firepower against ALCHEMY.
Yeah, that might become an issue, but again, it's all about the sustain. I think that if you're going to have a Faramis, you're going to just make sure that you have that, you win that team fight. It's going to be super important that ALCHEMY work around, you know, the call to alter cooldown so that you don't actually get into fight. Maybe you fade it out, you go in and out, you got to keep yourself alive, but that's a situation where it's difficult to play around.
And of course, just at the start of things, we are definitely going to be expecting that ALCHEMY will be playing very aggressively for a couple of these few objectives. With the objective that, with the first turtle going to be popping up on the northern side at the EXP leaders, we do, I just of course realized that Fredrin is playing in the EXP lane, while the Paquito is going to be playing on the jungle. So what we are going to be expecting here mostly is going to be a wide amount of mobility from the side of ALCHEMY. They will want to do as much as possible to really proxy the lanes. As long as they're able to proxy things, and they should be able to bring down heroes that are underneath of the turrets.
Yeah, and the Fredrin just adds a lot of flexibility in terms of your draft, what you want to do. It is the most picked hero in MPLSG at Season 5. We've seen just how powerful it is. I mean, Bray's amazing on it in the jungle as well. But, you know, it's a situation where it has just so much potential. And as I say that, ALCHEMY take the first turtle. Very important to start taking objectives early.
Yep, nothing too out of the ordinary. Everything is all part of ALCHEMY's MO. They do have frontline damage, and they will be able to do a good amount of damage all the way from the early to the middle stages of the game. The late stages is where we should start to get a little bit worried. But in the meantime, as we're going to hold things on for a tad little bit, ALCHEMY is starting to identify that Smelly Cat onto the 1-1 should be dealt with real soon, as Exalt seems to bully Smelly Cat out of the lane.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. You got to be super important, making sure that you keep yourself alive. The laning phase, also very important. You want to keep it as neck and neck as possible, especially if you get to that mid-game, because, again, it's all about that mid-game spike, making sure that you're as strong as possible and you're not behind.
I gotta have to say, ALCHEMY's Exalt, he's not exactly doing a very good job in really holding Smelly Cat back. Because when we are looking at a Melissa outright beats and bullies the lanes. As such, ALCHEMY will want to focus themselves in the bottom lane.
Oh, but the Feathered Airstrike is going to be used. Smelly Cat keeping himself alive, and pretty much everybody's disengaged. Nobody actually was killed. Chesty was there on point with that call to alter, making sure that everybody was alive. But again, not giving up first blood, very important going into this game.
Very disciplined plays coming in from both sides, especially from ALCHEMY, right? They are the aggressors, and they would want to take easy kills. But once they realize that STELLARK is pretty much prepared and ready for a defense, they will jump out of it whenever necessary. Here's the thing though, remember how I have been constantly talking about marksman, because marksman is what we would want to focus on. As for now, we've got the first blood as Chesty. It does have the Stampede, Shadow Stampede, that essentially managed to pull Zookeeper back underneath the turret.
It's all about the little wins, making sure that you did get first blood, get yourself in that. But again, that worth, but Feathered Airstrike, Smelly Cat dashes, down and away, and Jet will snipe him out.
That is the kind of moment that we would want to see from the side of Alchemy. If we were to think of things as a trade, right, it will be a very good trade from the side of Alchemy. They essentially sacrifice Zookeeper for Smelly Cat, and that is essentially a position 5 for a position 1, and that I'll take that any day.
Yeah, it's the long game, right? Making sure that you're in that situation. But I don't know if it was a trade that they were making sure that they got into this one. But oh dear, Bambi. Okay, he's going to shade back to safety. He's going to be fine. But now Icon starting on the turtle here.
They don't really have a lot of crowd control to work with at the start of the game, but Sing is definitely going to be opening up with the Bravest Warrior.
Oh, but it's going to be going in, and they do have the backside. Zookeeper is doing some work on Oh dear Bambi. He's going to be knocked out, and Sink actually takes out Exalt as well. But the turtle will be picked up by Icon, making sure that he did secure it. But now Smelly Cat is going to be going in, and Icon's like turning it up. Sink, you can't run away, gets the other knockup, and Pooski will get that other kill.
That is a total of 6 kills within 5 minutes, with Alchemy getting themselves 2 kills on top of STELLARK. And we also have about 1,800 gold of advantage that Alchemy has gotten for themselves. They have gotten two of these turtles, and they are definitely on cloud 9. They will be able to ride on this tide for a good amount of time. And we are going to be taking this opportunity to look at items as well as their gold, as Exalt is hovering around at 3,500 gold, and his voice counterparts 2,700 gold. So we really got a really good idea that Exalt, he has got his corrosion scythe already. Smelly Cat also has it. However, Exalt is just about a quarter ways through to his next item and just picked up the regular spear.
Okay, you guys both you and Vertigo were like, hey, in this morning, we had this gut feeling. We understand that Alchemy SG is going to be there. I woke up with indigestion, right? Like, so this gut feeling is a little bit different, no?
Right?
And the sniffles, of course. But as I say that in the mid lane, and okay, just clearing the wave.
It's really just clearing the wave. You know, let's be honest here. The creep waves, they of course do a lot of damage as well. You're gonna have to really respect the waves, because the waves and the wave management is one thing that you're gonna have to keep an eye out for the longest time ever, until you bring down the first defense turret. What we have here from the side of Alchemy is relatively interesting. They actually do not have the Fredrin to hold up the lane in the northern side. In fact, they left it over to Zookeeper. He is, after all, the master assassin. He would want to get kills fast. However, hold on a second as you look down the bottom lane.
Exalt and Jet, both of them getting killed. Smelly Cat will secure that double kill, and that's how you get back in the game. Mind you, this net worth lead is only about 1,000 at this point. It's still 50-50.
Yep, so at least for the side of STELLARK, they managed to pick up 2 kills, and they also gotten a turret of their own. While Alchemy, the only thing that they can do there was to pick up the turret in the northern side. But it is definitely not an odd thing for STELLARK, because they have a Lapu Lapu being sent up to the northern side to be able to get a very passive push up to the northern, while the turtle is currently being taken. This is what STELLARK wants to contest for, as they know Alchemy will go in for it.
Yeah, they're going to go in for this one. The Cult Toss are now going to be used, but Icon secures the turtle, and Oh dear Bambi now on the run. Pooski's doing some work, and Oh dear Bambi's already been knocked out. Zookeeper somehow barely alive. Pooski as well. You breathe on them and they die.
Literally, a quick little sneeze and goodbye. You go for Pooski. Now, of course, we are going to be expecting what we are going to be looking at from the side of Sing. He definitely jumped straight over to the backside for Jet, but he did manage to get a good amount of kills. But 4-5, STELLARK, they're still a little bit behind.
Yeah, definitely behind. This is a little bit worrying, but Fossa, they found Icon, and that's going to be a pretty nice pickoff, assuming they do get him, but he's just very tanky. Icon continuing to fight, finally goes down. Chesty will secure that one, but the nice energy eruption on the back end of this one, Pooski will make sure that he pays. Exalt will secure that kill.
And of course, Zookeeper is going to be the next one in the targets of the side of STELLARK. They immediately bring him down, and of course, right after taking that, they knew that they have got an advantage. They knew that they already won a team fight. They don't have to follow through anymore.
This is the power of the Fredrin, right? It's just very tanky. It's starting to do some damage. It's getting, you know, almost, he's playing fearless. He's going in 1 versus 3, but as I say that, he's looking to go in. He flickers for his safety, gets pulled back. Finally, he does get killed. I just cast their curse Pooski.
This is gonna be relatively tough, right? STELLARK is now gonna be pushing themselves.
Oh, the feathered air strike, the gold filter that's gonna be used, keeping him alive. Stink is gonna go down, but Icon will secure that one. Oh dear Bambi getting a little bit low. Exalt does get killed, and that's an actual massive win for STELLARK as they're looking to clean up. Boss is next on the list, and Icon starting to clean house.
2-for-2 trade. Alchemy also managed to defend their middle lane first tier turret. That was the main thing that STELLARK wanted to go for, and that is understandably a very important objective. Once they have lost that turret, they will essentially lose quite a lot of control over the 50 line.
Okay, Icon top of the player gold, Exalt is right behind, but Exalt has already died 3 times. That's a bit of an issue right now, especially at the 9-minute stage. You don't want to do that as a Melissa. You want to be farming as much as possible. You want to ensure that you do stay alive. He hasn't been able to do that, but that's more on the fact that STELLARK have done a great job of prioritizing.
Too much objectives and too much annoyance coming from the side of STELLARK. Let's just put it as the fact that Odia Bambi has been everywhere. In the meantime, Smellycat soars into the sky, and they're continuing up with this.
Yeah, but the Cult Altar keeping him alive. The Feathered Airstrike, that's going to be used. Chesty is now on the run, but the nice Energy Eruption locking in Fasa. You think you can run away? Not going to happen, but now Odia Bambi has joined the fight. He's going to fight, but he's barely alive, and Fasa finally does go around. Zookeeper continuing to fight, but he gets killed. Chesty will secure that one.
2-for-2 trade. The Lord is now currently available. The main thing we gotta look out for is the junglers. STELLARK do have their jungler, and of course Alchemy has that as well. They still will be able to keep themselves around the Lord's pit, and they should be able to take a relatively good amount of priority over that. One thing that we gotta have to look out for, though, is that Zookeeper is not in the game, Forza is not either. So they do not have anyone that will be able to grant them vision. As such, Sync, he gonna have to go through with it. He gonna have to take up the mantle to stand in the front, and that could possibly mean death.
Death is what's going to happen, but the waltz will begin. This is going to be more of a slow fight, making sure that they're going into this one. Sync sees everything, providing vision for the team, ensuring that this Lord is just not given away for free, right? Odia Bambi does need to make appearance, but it looks like they're going to push the top lane, kind of fix things out a little bit. It's going to be a slow push going into this Lord.
As now, STELLARK, all they need is information. Odia Bambi erupts himself out of his main body, and he's got his soul rushing out for Exalt. Doesn't seem like that is gonna work out for him at all. That is gonna be one ultimate down from the side of Odia Bambi. They would not be able to just dive right in over to the back. Alchemy playing it very slow. They're waiting for the perfect moment. The Lord is currently down to half HP. Alchemy hovering around. Zookeeper though, being sneaky peeky like. I don't think the STELLARK is expecting what's coming soon, as now we've got everything!
Yeah, and Icon's going to take down the Lord. That's going to be a huge win for them. Icon continuing to fight, but now Pooski's so low. Is he able to survive? Oh my gosh, a sliver of life, but Zookeeper's going to go down. Chesty will secure that one, and Smellycat is looking to fight this, and they're cleaning out. They got Jet as well, and that's going to be a huge win for STELLARK. They've turned this around, but the Lord is going to push in the bottom lane.
It's a neutral trade. Alchemy may have gotten the Lord, but Alchemy would not be able to push with the Lord. Not much that they can do. Even though we are looking at a great amount of creeps running around everywhere, nothing that the side of STELLARK cannot handle. All in all, this is definitely a great fight coming in from the side of STELLARK. Smellycat definitely overextended a lot, and to be honest, he don't even need to care about soaring into the skies with a crossbow of tank. I've got to say, Fasa came in a pretty nick of time as he just went straight in and hooked up on the 2-person, locking them in.
Yeah, that was a win for STELLARK. The fact that, Exalt went down, Jet went down, both of these heroes need to stay alive. They need to ensure that they're doing a lot of damage. They're able to get some farm. Now, Alchemy have turned this around in the sense that with that Lord push, they've been able to get the T1 middle. This is creating a little bit of space. You need to be able to breathe at this stage.
Initially looking at the goal and everything else, STELLARK and Alchemy look exactly neck and neck. However, I'm not exactly sure what has prompted STELLARK to fall all the way back to their second-tier defensive turret. They don't seem to be too interested in trying to hold on to their first-tier turret when all 5 of them were still available. And I'm not too sure if I'm correct, but all of them have got their ultimates as well. The defensive layers that will be able to be provided by Chesty is definitely present for a fight, but there could be something that they're looking out for. It's definitely not the Lord, because the Lord will only be popping out in 80 seconds in. They can go for kills, unless all they want to do is secure their own jungle and keep Smellycat alive and safe at farming.
Yeah, keep him alive, but it's also a situation where if you're looking at the map control, Alchemy have kind of taken over that. I would say that they own about 60 to 70% of the map. They're ensuring that they're taking over as much of the jungle as possible. STELLARK right now are on the back foot. They're looking to kind of flank around. Fasa is going to provide a little bit of vision. The conceal has been used, but if anything, it's just going to back it off. My problem right now is that it might have been a little bit early, especially since the Lord is spawning in about 45 seconds.
Now, of course, one of the biggest problem from the side of Alchemy is the fact that both their main impact player, Exalt as well as Jet, the marksman and the mage respectively, both of them are losing to their respective opponents. And of course, that is going to be Chesty as well as Smellycat. Now, here's the problem. The Alchemy jungler he's got a good amount of gold, right? Currently, he's hovering somewhere around 9,600 gold. However, for the side of Odia Bambi, only at 8,500 gold. So Icon definitely can do quite a lot when it comes down to tanking. He may not necessarily be able to do a lot of damage because he's building up full defenses with Molten Essence, Guardian Helmet, Antiquarius. The only thing that he has is the Hunter Strike, which really enables him with more mobility and more of the maneuvers rather than to really seek someone out and assassinate them.
Yeah, but Icon has to have that game, right? You're on the Paquito, you gotta make plays, you gotta make sure that you have the stun locks, let your team kind of work around you. His issue right now with Alchemy in general is that Exalt and Jet have both been going in, but
it does seem like as though the Colt also just going to be popping right up from the side of STELLARK. It's just going to be continuing pouring themselves right down on the Alchemy with 2-3 person down already. While STELLARK loses only one. Odia Bambi, he is going to be the jungler after all, so no retribution from their side. Icon does not have retribution, but Smellycat, he is right on his toes, and he will dive the turret for him and brings him down.
Yeah, actually massive right there for 4 for nothing for STELLARK. They'll take that one. The Lord is going to be taken as well, and Sync will secure that Lord. And this is a back and forth, heavyweight fight that we saw that Alchemy was up a little bit, but then STELLARK wins that. They get 4 for nothing. They get the Lord. That's exactly what you want, and that's going to be in prime position now. Now they're in the driver's seat. How do STELLARK respond?
Honestly, when it comes down to STELLARK, all they gotta do is respect Alchemy's damage. They're gonna have to be really careful about a wandering assassin. Where the Natalia is, do not leave Smellycat alone. Once one person goes down from the side of STELLARK, they may not be able to find the opportunity to escort the Lord all the way into Alchemy's base. That is the #1 goal. To be honest, STELLARK, they're not exactly on a timer or anything, but they do have the advantage right now. Make full use of the advantage. Don't try to throw all of that into the drain.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, but the Feathered Airstrike, the Lord has been taken and been removed. Sync is going to be left for dead. He's going to be killed. Exalt will secure that. You don't want to give him kills, but Exalt hasn't had the greatest of game. He's 2-6-5, has pretty much struggled in this game, but you need to buy Exalt time.
Well, that was thrown into the drain after all. STELLARK didn't really quite manage to do anything much with the Lord, especially bringing down the inhibitor turret. That is the main thing that we want to see. Alchemy found a way to fight back. They managed to completely zone everyone out of the Lord's range thanks to the Feathered Airstrike. That is what high ground is able to do for you. That is what we want to see from that. And in the end of the day, Alchemy, they may have lost the Lord fight. They wasn't able to do much about it. But in the end, just gather yourself up again. Allow Exalt to get farmed.
How close is this game, right? The fact that the Lord was pushing and a simple mistake by Sync was it caught him out of position. Probably not what you want to do. You kind of want to ride off of that Lord, making sure that he does most of the tanking for you, but unfortunately not the case. And this is what we wanted in terms of a competitive game. We knew that these two teams were very evenly matched, and we're seeing that. I mean, it's neck and neck.
The game is a little bit too close, right? Because STELLARK and Alchemy, both of their lineup, they have a way to deal with one of the biggest impact player, which is going to be their marksman, right? When it comes down to Smellycat, he will be bursted down in an instant thanks to the Natalia, as he's already built up the Malefic Roar, Hunter Strike, as well as the Blade of the Haptoseas. In the meantime, for the side of STELLARK, they do have Odia Bambi that will be able to just weave himself in Kado's protection, and he don't even have to care about anything at all. With the Corrosive Scythe, the Demon Hunter Sword, Malefic Roar, as well as Golden Staff, he can just jump straight on over to the side of the marksman. So this is the kind of game that we're looking out for. The survival of the marksman. Whichever marksman stays alive, they win the game.
Okay, but which of these two teams do you think win the late game, right? There's got to be a timer on one of these teams. Which one do you think is like, oh, if I just stick around, I'm going to be guaranteed this win?
To be honest, I think that it really doesn't... both of them is relatively equal. They all have their own different layers of protection, defenses, and attacks. It boils down to a lot more of their mechanics as to who goes in first, who peels for the team, and who is capable of bringing down the most impactful player. Puski can do whatever he wants onto Sync, but it's all about denying them of the vision. We looked at things from one step to another. Alchemy have to ensure that none of the STELLARK members is close to the Lord. Deny them of all the vision. Deny them of a way to understand when is the perfect time to jump in for the Lord. And that is exactly what Puski is doing.
Yeah, he's going to flicker to safety. He's going to be backed up, but he's going to get caught out. The Cult Ultra is now going to be used. This is on cooldown, mind you. This could be a massive win. It could be a window of opportunity that Alchemy, if they want to press their attack, they're not going to. They're going to let the Lord back in this cave.
Both of these teams had disadvantages if they were to continue with the Lord. Number one, they lack Puski coming in as the pillar. Number two, they do not have the additional layer of defenses coming in from the Cult's altar. As such, both of them make a expeditious retreat out of that fight itself. However, this also means that Alchemy have lost that front liner to really deny STELLARK of all the information that they have worked out so hard for. So right now, that's the problem. Alchemy lost all priorities. And this is the problem.
Yeah, oh dear baby! Oh, okay, that's going to be the first life, but it looks like he's going to be killed in return, and Zookeeper's down, and that's not what you want to do. This is an opening for STELLARK. Can they get anything else in addition? Conceal's going to be used, they're going to go right in, but the nice stun is going to stop Fossa and Smelly Cat in their tracks.
With the immortality popped only from the side of, I believe that was Odia Bambi. I don't think that was a very good trade, to be honest. They lost in Natalia, which is one of the main reasons that is gatekeeping the 1-1. Now, 1-1 has got free real estate. Free reign all over the sides of Alchemy. He can just jump into the hearts of Alchemy and they wouldn't even be able to respond. Puski, he gotta have to step up here. He gotta have to find a way to really hold on to Smelly Cat and perhaps even try to draw some of these crossbow shots. Perhaps even Icon. Icon went for a lot of defenses. Problem is, he doesn't have got the blade armor.
All right, one thing about Zookeeper is that he kind of went in a little bit, by himself, right? It was like a 1 versus 3, probably not a fight that you're going to take. You need to ensure that when you're taking a risky fight, that the probability is in your favor. That was a bad fight, and what happened was that the Lord, was taken up by STELLARK, so just not a good situation to put your team in. Now this lead is starting to grow. It's 4,000 at this point.
Alchemy backed out a little bit too early in the pre-fight of the Lord. They may have, they may need Puski to actually wander around, waiting for the point in time where they actually, the Guardian Helmet were to come into play and get himself that passive regeneration. But that also means that Alchemy actually withdrew all of their troops out of the area, and that wasn't good at all. Losing information, losing priority, that is what is going to bring them to this very moment where the Lord has managed to destroy the inhibitor turret in the middle lane and will be expecting split pushes in the top and the bottom.
It's just about the little things. You make one mistake, things can turn on the game on its head, so to speak, and you put yourself in a bad situation. Those are mistakes that top-tier teams do not do, right? It's one of those situations where you need to think about what you're doing in the long game.
Right now, when it comes down to Alchemy, their jungler as well as the ESP laner pretty much have split roles. We are looking at the ESP laner, they've got to have to peel for the entire team.
Yeah, but the Cult Ultra, that's going to keep them alive, and they're going to look to fight this. Fossa's getting so low. Is he able to do it? But Jet has already been killed. That's a lot of damage that's been removed. Sync is somehow still alive, and all of this, Icon is getting a little bit low. Does he go back in? Exalt will use Go Away to keep himself alive, but now the core is wide open. They're focusing their attention, and that looks like it's going to be game at 22 minutes. That took me a second because there was a little bit of a pause, but they got game 1 in the bag.
That
Victory!
was definitely a game we have been expecting. It is pretty much a very much neck-to-neck fight. We do not really have a very good idea who is going to be really winning because Alchemy has gotten on the throats of STELLARK in the early stages of the game. I do really want to know what